Hello, everyone, and welcome to part 5 of the Tartarus key. So, for this game, we only have one episode left. We're basically like close to the end. I think the game is about 6.5 to 7 hours. If you work with a guide, maybe a little bit longer if you're having like issues with the puzzles and things like that. But because I'm using a guide for some of the more frustrating and obtuse puzzles, I was able to kind of get it down to 6.5 hours instead of like 7 or 8. So for now, we're going to explore the rest of the mansion, the parts that we did not have access to, but now we do. Because when we were walking towards this area, towards the landing, there was a large rumble, and we're going to see what happened. So let's get started. I like the little bits of humor that we get, especially from Alex William in the last episode, where he gestures with his hands like bosoms, and everyone's like, "Are you serious?" But yeah, I mean, the concept is ridiculous. Like somebody kidnapping you and then dropping you in a house that's full of like escape room puzzles. That would be, it wouldn't be seriously frightening for me. It would just be frustrating because then I'd be like, ugh, I have to solve these? Can I just sit here? But I mean, these are life or death puzzles in some instances. With Torres, she was trapped in a room where gas was like started to leak. I guess if you push the door too hard. And for others, it's life or death. But I'm wondering why Alex's wasn't life or death. I feel like this section is very much Resident Evil inspired just because of these patient files that talk about experiments with mutations and things like that, and then the vats with the humans inside, with a human inside of it, and the looks like a deformed creature on the other, and something broke out of one of the test tubes. So, yeah, I feel like this section is Resident Evil inspired. Alright, so using the bloody cloth on the computer ends up triggering a lockdown, but that works for us because it opens the security locker and we can get a screwdriver and an ID, and that should close the lockdown. If I was a doctor like Ruth, I would be the same way. Just that sounds extremely outside of my purview of expertise, but whatever they're doing, I do not agree with it. So, yeah, that makes me angry. All right, so using the screwdriver on the panel, that takes it off, and now we can use the lighter that we found in the uniforms to trigger a purge. All right, let's get Kai out of here because who knows what was in the liquid that they were using to suspend them in. So for now, let's try to see if we can make it back to the door, but it looks like it's sealed shut, so we probably have to go an alternate way. So the inventory list that we have wants us to find paintings, mops, brooms, and skeletons. That's basically what we have to count to figure out the code for the keypad, which should hopefully open up a door that will allow us to leave. So in here, there are six paintings and then two skeletons in the corner. And then there's, I think, four or five mops, and two brooms. I thought, for instance, that they wanted us to count the skeletons that were in this room as well, because there's one behind the um, curtain that's over there. But that wasn't the case. It's just relegated to this room in particular. So for this room, you have to kind of like move the meat racks out of the way so you can get the one that has the tags in it to the other side. It takes a little bit of configuring and trial and error, but you should be able to do it without like any real issues. So, something that I also noticed, besides the red motes of light that we're seeing more of now, but just the trembling. There wasn't any trembling at the beginning of the game. It was pretty calm in terms of that. But as we kept going along, we were getting more and more instances of like earthquake like behavior. And so it kind of makes me wonder, what exactly is going on with that. Could it just be earthquakes, like aftershocks? Could it be that every time we complete a puzzle, the trembling is just the mansion opening up like the new area? I mean, at this point, I would accept that it's pretty much anything or everything, given how weird this whole house is and the experiences. So I reset the puzzle because I messed up. I think I pushed some racks a little bit too far and they weren't supposed to go there just yet because we're still trying to get the tagged meat over to the other side of the room, but to do so we have to move everything out of the way. So yeah, I think I pushed some things a little bit too far, but nothing that I can't fix. So we're gonna go ahead and try again, and hopefully this works. Understandable. I I wouldn't want to be in a butcher room. It takes a very kind of strong stomached person to be inside a butcher room without some form of mask or something that keeps the smell out of your like nose because just like meat areas can smell like really bad just from the blood and all the other stuff. So I totally understand, Kai. I wouldn't want to be in the room either. So I'm just doing one more once over just to make sure that I got all of the recipes before we continue on with the rest of the puzzle. So we're supposed to find the recipes. Each of the recipes has a configuration of food on a stove. And so we have to figure out what is the combination that they're asking for that would allow us to go into the next area. So there's a menu over here that we can consult and should have some clue that would allow us to figure it out. Okay, so it looks like we have all of our recipes. Now we just got to figure the rest out. So on the food plan board, it says that on Friday they made chicken, madras, and beef stew, which are two of the recipes that we have. So now we just have to, I guess, turn the burners on in the placement of each of the foods. So I thought that that was a watch, like a smartwatch, and not a shock bracelet. But now that we know that it is a shock bracelet, this is probably the last puzzle that we have to do before we can actually escape. So we're probably going to need to look around, see if we can find any clues that gives us an understanding of why they had a prison area, why the tiles indented when you stepped on them, and what's up with these tally marks and all this other like card games and things like that over here. So to make sure that I got Kai out of here alive, because there's three sets of puzzles that you have to do, and some of them are a little confusing. This first one is not confusing because it's tally marks and with obvious like little arrows in them. So it shows you like directions. So for this, we're gonna go up and then right, then down, down again, then right, and then right. So for this puzzle, um, you have to basically follow the letters in a continuous line to get to the end. Now, some of them look like they're going to get you to the end in a continuous line, but if you notice, like B, D, C, A, D, D, you won't be able to do A twice because there's only one A. So the answer for this one is B, C, D, A, C, B, D. And that will go from down to the right, up to the right, up to the right. So for this one, it's a if and or puzzle. Basically like computer coding. Like for instance, if a spade can move to a heart, um, unless a diamond is available. So it's if there's a diamond available, you would move. If there's no diamond available, you would move to a heart. But if there was a diamond available, you would move to a diamond. So it's kind of like I would definitely, before you get to this third one, save. Because if you accidentally make a mistake, it will electrocute Kai to death. So that last one is probably the more confusing one. I mean, I wouldn't say that it's not a possibility, Torres. I mean, William pissed them off and he became part of the traps. You're a detective that's probably been tracking, like, down these different types of kidnappings and other stuff. And they feel like you might have been getting too close to their operations. And then, of course, we have Ruth, who's just kind of like, I don't want to work at a prestigious hospital if that means that I have to worry about money. It could be the director of the hospital was a part of the society and targeted Ruth because of it. And Charles, with his occult knowledge, it could be the reason why he was picked up was because, his occult knowledge could have been useful, but he didn't want to use it to, like, you know, I guess help them figure out like different rituals. And then, of course, there's Kai, who's non binary. Maybe Kai was a target just because they're bigots. I don't know. I mean, at this point, like I said, anything could be possible. But given that we're getting close to the end of the game, I'm going to go ahead and let the rest of this play out. We'll see in the next video what we can do to escape now that I feel like we have everybody. And that with being said, you guys have a good rest of your day. Bye.